It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Tennessee bonus hour of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We welcome to our studios, to our microphones in the studio, the original All-Star panelist, Crom Carmichael. Welcome, Crom.
Greetings, Michael. This is our first experience together in 2025.
2025.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the, 34th year of our friendship?
Yes. Let's say 24. 34. Say 24.
We first met in 1991. We first met. How about that? Ironically, way back in 1991, the guy who is now the head of C-SPAN graduated from Vanderbilt University.
Ah, okay.
He went to Georgetown Law School.
Okay.
And then I just saw this. He's now been appointed back in May, he was the head of C-SPAN.
Okay.
And what I don't like about it, he spent his career at CNN. He was a Washington bureau chief.
Okay.
C-SPAN was great.
Yeah, C-SPAN doesn't matter much anymore.
No, it used to matter, but not so much.
Not anymore. But their camera angles, I thought, were fantastic.
We have some Tennessee news.
Okay.
The Beacon Center, our friends at the Beacon Center, have conducted and released a poll. It's very important because it shows that Tennesseans overwhelmingly support Governor Bill Lee's universal school choice proposal.
Okay.
67% to 13%.
Yeah. Yeah.
That says something, doesn't it?
And I mean, and that shows. I mean, that shows the spirit of people in Tennessee. They recognize, and as I was driving over to the show, I listened to the ad. I don't remember exactly who puts it out, but Bill Lee is
Job
the
Creators
voice.
Network.
Okay, thank you. Bill Lee was the voice in the ad. Said this Governor Bill Lee, and he explained exactly why he believes so strongly in this bill. And in this bill, he points out that the bill also includes a substantial increase in funding for public education that has nothing that's not related to the scholarship programs, and that's because our state has the money to do that. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know that I think that part is particularly important, but it is from the standpoint of gaining political support from Republicans who have claimed last year that this would take away from money for public education. Now the bill includes both. And so if you're now against this, that 13% are the people who are the clingers to the teachers' unions.
Yeah, exactly.
And to the bureaucrats, and to the boards of education, and to the supervisors who want power and do not want competition. And that's kind of more or less what the Democrat side of the aisle stands for. Now we'll find out which Republicans are Republicans in name only.
Under the governor's proposal, 20,000 education savings accounts worth $7,075 would be available for Tennessee students in the upcoming school year, 2025 to 2026, starting in August. 10,000 scholarships of which would be reserved for students at or below 300% of income qualifying for free or reduced price lunch, have a disability, or eligible for existing ESA program. There's an existing program that I think serves 5,000 kids in Davidson County and Shelby County.
So this is in addition to that?
Yeah, this is in addition to that.
Okay.
Now, a little birdie told me.
Then that's one category. You said 10,000 is reserved. The other 10,000
open.
Okay.
Open to anybody. Yeah, okay. And it would likely. Now remember the context of this. There are about 1 million K-12 students in Tennessee.
Right. This is
like tiny.
Yes.
Tiny.
But it is a start.
It's a beginning.
It's a beginning. Other states began 10 years ago, and they've had significant progress. The children who've taken advantage of those scholarships in other states have done better on average, considerably better, materially better than their counterparts in the schools run by the government.
Yes, they have.
And so that's a fact, and it's one that is common sense also.
Yeah, exactly. By the way,
the birdie. Excuse me.
Little birdie
telling me about a birdie.
Little birdie,
Yeah.
birdieing around.
Is this in a form of a tweet?
Oh, Crom, you're here all week, aren't you? Crom, a little birdie told me that there's a possibility that Governor Bill Leahy may call for a special session just to deal with the Education Freedom Act, the universal school choice, prior to the normal general session. So this could happen.
Yeah, I mean, any day.
Any day he could call
Because
for
when
it.
does the general session start?
Typically, they have an organizational meeting that starts like the third week of January,
Okay.
and we're in the first week right now.
Yeah.
So if this were to happen, it would happen pretty soon. It could happen as soon as next week. I'm told, asterisk. Now, the politics of this, Crom, would be you do not want to call for a special session to pass a particular bill unless you're fairly certain that you got the votes, right?
I think that's correct.
Now, we have been talking to folks about this, and I can say I have little doubt that the votes are there in the Tennessee State Senate.
Okay.
With regards to the Tennessee House, there are about maybe 10 on the fence right now.
Okay.
I think they're somewhere between 49 yeses and 52 yeses.
How many yeses are needed?
50,
50. Okay.
right, since there's 99 members.
Okay.
So there are about 10 or so members of the House that are sort of still in flux,
Yeah.
shall we say. And if you want a worst case...
10 or so members of the Republicans
Yeah.
in the House.
Yeah, and there's no Democrat that will support it.
Democrats are in the pockets of the teachers' unions.
I think
we're about to find out which Republicans are in the pockets of the teachers' unions, because that's really what this is. This is exactly what this is, and I think that the other reason for calling a special session is to put a spotlight on this issue.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have to necessarily have all the votes. I think that a special session will call great attention to those Republicans who voted against it, and I hope that those Republicans who vote against it are primaried.
Yeah, I think it'll pass, but there's still some work to be done. And so, look, we're all in favor, 100% behind this bill. And it should pass.
Yeah.
And I think it would be very important. Okay, I got one other little thing to bring up here. This is from the leftist billionaire-financed Tennessee Lookout that Holly McCall runs.
Okay.
Headline, Tennessee representative pushes lawsuit against House Speaker. Nashville Democrat Justin Jones says Speaker Sexton violated his rights by expelling and silencing him.
Okay.
Basically, he's filed a lawsuit in federal court, and he says he claims they unlawfully expelled him.
Okay. We'll see where that goes.
That's in front of U.S. District Court Judge Eli Richardson.
Yeah.
I think it's what's the more interesting thing about this story, I know this won't surprise you, but this story does not say who's paying for the lawsuit.
Well,
Right.
and I don't much care. I mean,
It's
on who's
your
paying.
usual leftist.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Your usual leftist
Usual
billionaire.
suspects.
Yeah.
By the way, great movie. But this my guess is this will go nowhere.
Yeah.
You do not have a constitutional right to
Break the rules of the
break
House?
the rules of the House.
Yeah, you do not.
And to scream and yell and protest in the middle of a proceeding.
Yeah, and this, by the way, this is like, although Justin Jones is a young man, he's thinking in old ways. He's thinking in pre-Donald Trump re-election ways.
I think he's even thinking in farther back than that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And on that note, we're gonna turn to a topic of your selection
Okay.
in our next segment.
All right.
This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. He's Crom Carmichael. We'll be right back after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Well, Crom, it looks like Jake Tapper and CNN may be in legal trouble over a defamation suit. It involves a Navy veteran whose last name is Young. Do you have his?
Zachary.
Zachary Young.
Yes.
And so bring us the details of what CNN said in 2021 on a segment of The Lead with Jake Tapper about this Navy veteran.
Well, Michael, let me give it a little bit of background first. They made some statements about him as being a profiteer and trying to take advantage of the situation and charging people outlandish amounts of money to help them get out of Afghanistan. And this is during the debacle. This was during the debacle of the Biden withdrawal. And this is what I'm doing is I'm citing Jonathan Turley's article about this. But what's interesting is the judge in the case is ruling in favor of Zachary Young on a number of very important points. CNN tried to claim that because they reported on him, he was at least semi-famous or a semi-celebrity. The judge knocked that down. Said nobody had ever heard of him
until you reported
it, and so he does not have to cross that threshold bar. And by the way, he's suing for $1 billion. So this is not some tiny lawsuit. And he had a business that because of CNN's reporting, according to his lawsuit, his business was destroyed because of the lawsuits. Now here's what happened: CNN made these reports or reported these things that they themselves later retracted and apologized. So we know that they agree now that what they reported was false. But what they did was they sent him a notification that they were going to publish the story 2 hours before they went on air with it, and he responded within that 2 hours. And there's a text within CNN that says, F word, he responded. Okay, so
did they carry his response in the story?
No, and they just said that he responded that this is false. Okay, so the point is that the way that they responded, their follow up using the F word, it shows that they were malicious. This is part of his evidence that they were malicious.
So let's just say,
and the malicious part.
Hold on.
Well, let me just finish. The malicious part is what gets into the punitive damages.
Got it. So let me just say how this works in the media world, if you're being honest about it. If you write a story, and here's what the story said, that the correspondent Alex Marquardt in November of 2022 said, quote, Afghans trying to flee Taliban face black markets, exorbitant fees, no guarantee of safety or success, end quote. Afghans and activist reports demands of $10,000 to $14,000 for attempts to get family members out of country. And apparently, basically, they pointed out to Zach Young as engaged in this black market activity.
Right.
Okay. So now let's just say, if you're going to go, so what we typically do when we write a story, Crom, we'd like to give somebody who's a subject of the story 24 hours to respond.
Okay, they give 2.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. If we get a response, we don't say blank. We say, oh, okay, good. We got to get the response in.
Okay.
That's what we say.
Okay.
It's within our standards and guidelines. That is how you handle this responsibly as a journalist.
Yeah. Okay.
You ask somebody to comment, they comment.
Yeah.
The minute they
That's
comment.
the way you do it.
Well, that's the way you should do it.
No, that's not what I agree. That's the way you should do it, but that isn't necessarily the way you legally have to do it. And that's really the issue here. This isn't about what are good standards or what are bad standards by the average person. This is in a court of law.
Right.
And so CNN's claim is 2 hours is plenty of time. Yours is 24. Theirs is 2.
And he responded.
And
they didn't publish it.
And they didn't publish it, and they went ahead with their story anyway. But here's what's interesting.
So you see that if they were acting in good faith, this is what the issue is.
Yeah.
If they were acting in good faith, they would have published his comments.
Right. I understand. And so that's all of what this case is about. And this is why this case is so important. If this guy wins this case, and it's a multi-million dollar settlement, this will put all of the mainstream media, in fact, all media, on notice that smearing somebody or simply passing along the story that's unfounded, it puts you at financial risk. And so here's what's interesting about this story. I'm going to quote from the article here. The court found that CNN's retraction was insufficient to remove punitive damages from the table. In my torts class, this is Jonathan Turley, I'm quoting from him. In my torts class, we discussed retraction statutes and the requirements of time and clarity. I specifically discussed the CNN case. The report at the heart of the case aired on November 11th, 2021 segment of CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper and was shared on social media and on different versions of CNN's website. The segment Tapper tells his audience ominously how CNN correspondent Alex Marquardt discovered Afghans, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Marquardt piled on in the segment, claiming that desperate, what you've already read. The damages in the case could be massive, but Young was facing the higher New York Times versus Sullivan standard of actual malice. Well, now he's not even facing that because he's not famous. And the other part of this that's very interesting is Jake Tapper, in some other reporting, criticized Fox News for not being complete in a story that they gave. Jake, the young lawyers want to use that segment of showing that Jake Tapper says that this is the standard that CNN follows and Fox doesn't. Well, they tried to Jake Tapper and CNN tried to get the judge to not let Young introduce that as evidence, and the judge ruled in favor of Young on that count also. So it'll be this case, according to this article, and I may have this wrong, Michael, but I think I read that this case is set to go to trial today, January 6th, which is, if it does, that's kind of interesting. So the point here is that if this case goes to trial and Young wins and by the way, I don't think Young is going to settle for anything less a great deal of money. I don't think he'll settle. And this will put a chilling effect on the, and when I say chilling, I'm actually saying this in a good way. A chilling effect on the media to not smear people, because the media likes to smear people and then claim because they smeared them, they made them famous. And the courts are now,
Zach Young, the plaintiff in this case, who operated a business that did in fact apparently rescue people from Afghanistan.
He did,
but he was not a public figure.
No.
At this time.
No.
And the only public notice came from the story that mentioned him in November of 2021.
Right.
On CNN.
Right. And then they retracted the story and apologized.
How long after do you
in
recall?
March of 2022.
Oh, that's it.
Now wait, but that's not the distance. It's not the distance in time that the judge ruled against CNN. They said you published the story in multiple places. You retracted only in one. Your retraction is insufficient. And so what I'm saying is CNN is losing this case.
They're going to lose the case.
They're losing this case on all counts so far. And this case, I'm assuming it's a jury trial. It's in Florida.
Let me just tell you
this. The
this.
case is in Florida.
Let me just tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm going to put on my Mike Stradamus hat.
Mike Stradamus, yes.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I'll do my Karnak.
Get there. I'm picturing.
I'm combining Karnak for all of you older people who remember Johnny Carson.
The great Johnny Carson.
$450 million.
That's what you think? Okay.
It will be settled. It will not go. It will not go to trial.
Okay.
Ultimately.
Okay.
Because if you look at it, this is almost as damaging to CNN as the whole Dominion thing was damaging to Fox.
Well, this is, to me, this is a bit different.
It's different.
This is different
because they were a public corporation.
No,
and he's a private individual.
Well, yes, but the difference in this case, to me, is that this is not a company suing a company, as you point out.
An individual.
This is an individual.
Yeah.
And so if you slander an individual, the standards that media companies or the plaintiffs have to reach is now going to be lowered. And it'll be interesting to see if this guy, if this guy gets $150 million. I
said 450.
450, excuse me. Yeah. If it's settled for $450 million, it'll be interesting because in the Fox case, the Dominion case, the amount was made public.
$787 million.
Okay, that was made public. If this case settles, I would assume that the amount will eventually get out, if not be part of the settlement, along with a gigantic, we really messed up.
We're really sorry.
Yeah, we're really
Mr.
sorry,
Young.
and here's your great big check. But it also, Chuck Todd is beside himself that George Stephanopoulos and ABC settled.
We'll have more.
Case. Yeah.
When we get back.
Yeah.
This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our stories you can read at TennesseeStar.com, TennesseeStar.com. We'll be right back after this. Company takes this special time to salute the Franklin men and women in uniform who've answered the call for our freedom. Let's give them the hero's welcome they deserve as they fought hard to restore peace around the world. American troops are our angels of protection, so stand up and salute them proudly. This message is courtesy of our good friends at Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road in Franklin. They're always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction. I want to say a few words about our friends at the Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road. The Nashville Pizza Company in Franklin reminds us that the current economic times have been tough on many families in our area, and many are finding it hard to make ends meet. Your donations of clothing or canned goods can make a difference for a family in need. During this holiday season, give from the heart so others can have a new start. That's courtesy of our friends at Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road in Franklin. They are always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Hey there,
Impersonator not endorsed by
founder
Donald
and
Trump.
CEO of the Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, the original All-Star panelist, Carmichael Crum. The new Congress was sworn in on Friday. Today, they are, I think as we speak, they are in the process of certifying Donald J. Trump as the 47th President of the United States. We have 1 week, 6 days, 23 hours, and 27 minutes until Donald Trump is sworn in.
And who's counting?
But who's counting?
But who's counting?
I don't know if we can make it that long. But Crom, the first 100 days of his administration are going to be critical. And in fact, you may recall back when you were a child, Franklin Delano Roosevelt's first 100 days.
No, now that's unkind. That's unkind.
That's unkind.
That's unkind.
It is.
Yes.
It is. You weren't a child.
I was not a child. I was born in 1948. Thank you very much.
I'm teasing.
Yeah, I know you were.
But the first 100 days matter.
Yes.
And the first big issue is going to be the budget, right?
Well, no, I don't agree with that.
Oh, you don't?
No.
What's the first issue?
Well,
big issue?
Mike Johnson, new speaker, was on with Maria yesterday. And
Maria Bartiromo.
Yep, he was on yesterday, and he listed about 4 or 5 issues that are going to be passed.
Do we have that clip 12 of Mike Johnson?
Okay.
I think we do,
All right.
actually, of Mike Johnson talking to Maria Bartiromo.
Okay.
So this is how well we prepared we
Boy,
are.
that was. Yeah.
Because we didn't even know. Here we go. Mike Johnson on Maria.
Tomorrow, the Congress is expected to certify the 2024 election, January 6th. Can you tell us what to expect?
Well, I hope we have full attendance. We got a big snowstorm coming to D.C., and we encourage all of our colleagues, do not leave town, stay here, because, as you know, the Electoral Count Act requires this on January 6th at 1 p.m. So whether we're in a blizzard or not, we are going to be in that chamber making sure this is done. Listen, President Trump had a mandate, a landslide, you know, so many electoral votes, and we get to count them all, and we cannot delay that certification. He deserves that. 77 million Americans voted for President Trump in this agenda, almost 75 million for the House. That's our highest number ever. So we call it a mandate. I believe it is, and we got to get to work beginning immediately on Monday.
Well, okay, that wasn't exactly.
That wasn't exactly.
Yeah,
the point,
but that's okay. Let's talk about then when he said Trump's agenda. Trump's agenda includes it includes border security and the funding for it. It includes the tax cuts. It includes energy independence. What else, Michael? Help me out here on the other main things. And when I say the tax cuts, I mean the extensions of the 2017,
the deportation.
2000. Well, I call that the immigration issue.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in one category. There, but also DOJ, tremendous cuts in the regulatory state. And so and Lindsey Graham appeared on Maria after Mike Johnson, and the way Mike Johnson described it was the House is going to pass one very large reconciliation bill that includes everything, including the promises that Trump made on no taxes on tip, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security, and then the extension of the 2017 tax cuts, which have been in effect now, since 2017, and significant cuts in government spending in the regulatory state area, and Lindsey Graham was arguing that it needs to be done in 2 bites. Now the problem for Lindsey Graham is bills of taxes and spending must originate in the House,
according to the Constitution.
According to the
except they found a curveball way around that back in the passage of Obamacare.
Yeah, but it's still they still
I agree.
They still were forced to and so what I'm saying is Lindsey Graham cannot the Senate cannot pass its own simple piece of legislation and send it to the House. It can't do that.
It's got to originate in the House.
Has to originate in the House. And so Lindsey Graham is trying to make all kinds of, he's being hyperbolic.
Let me add one.
I think the reason is he doesn't want the spending cuts and the taxes to be in the first bill.
Well, let me just stop for a moment. I have some new news for you.
Oh, please.
Speaking on the Hugh Hewitt program this morning.
Yes.
President Trump said, while I favor one bill, I also want to get everything passed. And there are some people that don't necessarily agree with it. So he's open to 2 bills. Now, the way that I look at this, and to me, here's what I would do. I would say, look, guys, the idea of the insider game on this is you are able to do one reconciliation bill, right? That's the way the rules have worked out.
No, you can do 2.
Well, 2? Well, they're going to do 2, but I think it's a little bit more clever.
No, you can do 2.
Are you sure of that?
Absolutely.
Tell me why you're absolutely sure of that.
Well, I mean, I just heard it reported over and over and over again, even by the left-leaning media acknowledges that you can do 2.
I think there's a curveball on it, and I'll accept that premise that 2 can be done. I think it requires a little bit of dipsy-doodle around the rules, but let's go with that for now. But the point I would say on this is the 2-bill approach would basically fund the deportation, the border stuff, and the military first, and then everything else second. I would probably say, this would be my advice on this. I would do 2 steps. Number 1, in order to simplify and make sure you get it going, I would actually go with Trump's original idea of putting it into 1 bill, getting it all passed before March to cover the fiscal year until the end of September. But the other thing that I would do is I would go back.
Well, does that
to
does that count?
Wait, well, let me finish. I would go back. I would go back and I would say, look, guys, let's pass this one reconciliation bill by mid-March to cover this fiscal year until the end of September. But then I would say for future fiscal years, what I would do is I would go back to the concept of regular order.
I would not even come close to that. Not even come close.
What would you do?
I would pass the whole bill at one time. I'd put all the Republicans.
That's what I said.
No, you didn't. Well, you didn't answer my question.
No.
And I'm not trying to be.
No, Crom.
What's in your first bill?
Crom.
What's in your first bill?
I put no. Listen, you didn't listen to me at all.
I know. Well, I just asked you a question.
Crom. Here's the thing. What I said, what I would do, is I would put everything into one reconciliation bill, as Trump says,
including the tax cuts.
Yeah.
Okay. So this fiscal year includes all the tax cuts, all the cuts in the regulatory spending,
right?
All of the money that you need for border security and mass deportation.
Correct. That's what I would do.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then that isn't the way I understood it when you said it.
Well, you just listen.
Okay. Well, I was asking what was included, and you then told me. So as long as we include everything in the first bill,
that's what I said. But the other part about that, the key part about this is, I think, and the House Freedom Caucus might have a little different view on this. Okay. I haven't talked to Andy Ogles or any of those guys on it. This idea of breaking it up into two, getting the immigration stuff out first and then doing the other stuff later. I think that would actually kind of backfire.
I do too.
Right? So, but the broader point on all the budget thing, and we'll get to Massey here in a second. The broader point is we're in this mess because of the failure to do regular order. That is to go through the appropriations committees and do that all for the next fiscal year.
Okay. I don't know if that's why we're in the mess or not. I know we're in the mess because of the giant increases in government spending, which is now $3 trillion a year increase from 4.4 billion to 7.3 billion.
Have a bone to pick with Congressman Thomas Massey of Kentucky. Tell me why.
Well, I'm concerned. Let's see. He voted against Mike Johnson.
He did.
Yeah,
he was the only one.
Yeah,
only Republican who voted against Johnson.
But he won't tell you. He won't tell you what is required to gain his support for anything. He won't tell you. So to me, what he is he, as far as I'm concerned, he could possibly be a communist masquerading as a libertarian.
Do you think we should get him on the show?
I'd love to have him on the show to find out what is it that you were required to vote for something. Because if the answer is I will not vote for anything that doesn't include a balanced budget immediately, then that tells me that he's really a communist masquerading as a libertarian.
So tell me why.
Because he's going to then vote with the Democrats. Because he is letting what he considers to be perfect being the enemy of what he himself would consider to be very good. If he's in fact if he is in fact a libertarian.
So you're really unimpressed with Thomas Massey.
Very unimpressed so far. Now, let's see. But if he says we must have a balanced budget immediately, then what's telling me is this is a little bit like these Republicans in the State House who oppose school choice, and they give these reasons for it, and then no matter what you do to placate them, they still come up with another reason, and which means is they're really in the pockets of the teachers' unions. And so if Massey says I will only support legislation if it includes a balanced budget in this fiscal year, then what he's essentially saying, Mike, is that I won't vote for anything. I'll always vote with the Democrats. So think about that for a second, is that if you don't give me everything I want, I will always vote with the Democrats. Well, he might as well be a Democrat.
So I am a little more generous of spirit.
Okay.
When it comes to Thomas Massey.
Okay.
I think he is genuinely a libertarian. And I think when he looks at these things, it is sort of an absolutist kind of thing. I don't think that, I don't think his view on this, Crom, is, we got to balance a budget immediately because that's not practical and won't happen. But I don't know. I will say this. I think his voting against Johnson was a little bit, and maybe more than a little bit, of getting some press, of presenting himself as the standard bearer for fiscal conservatism.
Okay.
But I don't think, I would say this.
So let's see what he does here in the next 100 days.
I think he's authentic in his libertarianism. I would say...
Not if he votes... Michael, not if he votes with Democrats. Not if he votes with Democrats.
I understand your position.
Would you agree that if he votes with Democrats against budget cuts and against tax cuts, because there's no balanced budget, if you agree that he's that much of a purist,
let me answer it this way. I do think that there is a bit. We've tracked a whole bunch of libertarians, and the general problem with libertarianism is they don't participate in the general back and forth of compromise to get to an agreement. Typically,
neither do communists. Okay. So let's just be clear.
Well,
neither do communists.
I think you've made that point clear.
Don't you agree that communists don't either?
I would say the following, Crom, that Thomas Massey is not a communist.
Well, we'll find if he votes the same way as the Democrats, he might as well be.
He's a misguided libertarian.
Well, if he might as well be.
We'll have more when we get back. Time for News Potpourri. He's Crom Carmichael. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. It is January 6, 2025, broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville. In studio, original All-Star panelist Carmichael Crom. It's that time of day again. It's time for the first News Potpourri of 2025.
Yes, Michael. It's that time of the program with little tidbits that merit the attention of our audience, but not an entire segment and have a touch of
irony.
Yes. Michael, Maggie Haberman, we're going to talk about this more on Wednesday, but Maggie Haberman says that the hush money sentencing won't shrink the retaliation threat because Trump is very mad at Judge Marchant. I will have, on Wednesday, I'll give you what I believe is Marchant's motives for
very good
for the sentencing Trump on January 10th.
Hey, I got something here of note. Have
Please.
you noticed there's this ongoing dust-up between our friend Stephen K. Bannon and Elon Musk over any number of things. Bannon, of course, had criticized, before Elon Musk endorsed Trump, he'd criticized Musk for his relationship with the CCP or business things that they did in China. When Musk came on and put $275 million into a PAC and to get out the vote and help Trump win in Pennsylvania, Bannon was very appreciative. But now they're on opposite ends of this H-1B visa controversy. And I'm hearing, and I think that that X, formerly Twitter, is kind of starting to implement some social credit elements to it. In other words, you're getting an X score in some elements of if you're too negative.
Okay.
Bannon is not a fan of that, nor am I.
Okay. Well, we'll see where that all goes. This is an interesting headline from Western Journal. Trump learns Biden's order. Have you heard about this? Lowering the flags to half staff.
Yeah.
In Washington, even through the inauguration.
Right.
Which seems to me to be an extended length of time.
It's an intentional insult.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't think that Biden controls the flags over the Capitol building. I don't think he does. I think that's a congressional issue. I don't think that the President of the United States can command that the Congress do that.
So the Capitol could have it.
The Capitol could have it.
I mean, typically when a president dies, how long are the flags at half staff?
I don't know, but you should take into account that you have an inauguration, which Biden doesn't want to. CNN, MSNBC analysts quickly piled on the New Orleans mayor for calling the attack a terrorism. Now this is a guy that that we now learned had an ISIS flag. We learned from the reporter roaming around. By the way, he tried to burn down his Airbnb. Mm-hmm. But there was a reporter that was let in that walked around where he was staying before he killed all those people, and he had the Quran open to the section on martyrdom. Mm-hmm. And so to argue that this guy was not an Islamist is well, it's out there.
I've got one for you, kind of related. It's a new headline at the Tennessee Star, TennesseeStar.com, by our great reporter Tom Pappert. Some Tennessee law enforcement is not providing data about illegal immigrants for an annual report that is due at the end of this month. A spokesperson for the Tennessee District Attorneys General Conference told the Tennessee Star the conference is currently preparing its first report to the governor and state legislatures to establish the cost incurred to Tennessee taxpayers as a result of illegal immigrants who are processed through the criminal justice system. Basically, so Williamson County has provided that information to them, not to us. We've asked multiple times for it, and I'll get back to that in a bit. Davidson County has not provided that information.
Okay.
So Freddie O'Connell, Mayor O'Connell, got to comply with the law.
But so the law requires it by the end of this month.
No, it required the reporting by the beginning of this month.
Oh, so by the end of last month.
And so they're going to, by the beginning of this month.
Okay.
And then the report will be issued on January 31st. Why is this important? It's important because Todd Warner, the state representative that covers parts of Williamson County, parts of Murray, parts of Marshall, made a claim a couple weeks ago that 1/3 of all the criminal cases in Williamson County involves illegal aliens. He was unable to substantiate that, and we've tried to substantiate it. We can't. That's a big number, if that's
a big
true.
Number, yeah.
I think it's probably less than that, but we won't know for
Well,
sure
we don't,
until January 31st.
Yeah, okay. This is something, Michael, that's looming.
Looming? Is it looming?
Yeah, it's a big deal. From BizPac Review, massive dock worker strike could land Trump's administration's in lap on day one. Biden got them to push it off. They got a 62% pay raise. But what they didn't get was the language that they wanted so that robots or automation technology could not be used on the docks. And you have to have productivity gains in a society. And so robots are going to end up being an important part. Productivity gains are going to be an important part.
It's got to happen
of that. Yes.
Yeah. The Luddites did not fare well in England.
No, but
nor will they here. Ultimately.
Well, we'll see. But anyway, if they go on strike, Trump will have to make a decision immediately on whether or not to say that there's national security and that they can't.
I will predict
that he will.
He will.
I hope you're
right.
Hey,
I got one for you.
Let me give you one more
real
here.
quick.
It's kind of the Western Journal. Top insider warns about new people joining the United States Postal Service. These are people who joined the United States Postal Service for only a matter of a few months. They steal a whole bunch of mail with checks in them. Mm-hmm. And then they go and we talked about this a week or so ago. The people are filling out their checks to the IRS and putting them in the mail, and to state and local governments.
They're being stolen.
And they're being stolen, and they're being cashed. And then the government says, "Well, I don't care if they got stolen by the Postal Service, you got to pay it anyway." So you have to pay twice.
One last story for you. This is just published at the Tennessee Star, TennesseeStar.com. New Orleans, the city, faces lawsuits claiming the terrorist attack was foreseeable and preventable, and that the killer, the terrorist, exploited gross negligence. I think they're going to win that.
That will be an interesting case because all they had was one police car blocking it, and it was easy to get around. Easy to get around that police car.
Crom, thanks for joining us in the new year.
You betcha.
All right, up next, Rob Carson. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I hope you have a great day. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
I'm Governor Bill Lee, and I want to talk to you about an important education bill in Tennessee. Everyone knows that education has the power to change the trajectory of a child's life forever. And anyone who's raised a child knows that each one's different in their educational needs, and their learning styles, and their talents. The fact is, parents know their own children best. They know what's best for their education and their future. That's why I'm here to talk to you about Tennessee's Education Freedom Act. It empowers parents across our state to use their tax dollars to choose the school that allows their child to thrive, regardless of zip code or income, all while making significant investments in Tennessee's public education. If you want to learn how you can help make the Education Freedom Act a reality in Tennessee, go to educationfreedomact.com and write or call your state representatives. It's educationfreedomact.com.
This ad is
The
paid
Chief
for
Team
by Job
reminds
Creators
listeners
Network.
here that more and more veterans will be returning home over the next few years, and many are local. These heroes have elite military training and valuable professional skills, but they also need jobs too. That's why the Chief Team is encouraging all local businesses. Let's make it the year we hire smart and hire veterans. That's from the Chief Team, where they say service isn't just a courtesy, it's a commitment. For more information, call 931-444-3572. That's 931-444-3572 for the Chief Team in Clarksville.
The Black preaching tradition is deeply connected to gospel music.
PBS presents a new series hosted by Henry Louis Gates Jr., Gospel.
Our singers preach and our preachers sing.
Gospel is a prayer. It is our heart's cry to God in lyrics and song.
You feel it deep down in your soul.
Gospel. Streaming now on the PBS app.